Hello everyone, it's me, Rob again. I'm here with coffee, ready to chat. It's been kind of busy here in the Lair. I've been doing a few different projects. My podcasting is going fairly well. The podcast is Back to the Podcast, which I've been putting up on my Lair of OmnusI channel. Also is on Anchor if you do listen to podcasts. Anchor is available on any mobile app. So, iTunes Store, Android Store, what have you. We have fun with that. Mostly things like movie reviews, but we've got a number of things. I'm pretty happy with it all in all. My podcast partner, Dave, knows a lot about movies and things, and good person to bounce things off of. So check it out if you haven't done that. Videos wise, I've been making a lot of videos. However, one of the videos will not be coming out. I did kind of had a thought. One of my friends really loves watching podcasts and video logs with people showing their techniques for things like painting miniatures and creating dungeon decor and stuff. So I thought I would do that. The only problem was a lot of the skills that I used to have in painting, well, they've kind of atrophied because I haven't done it in almost a decade. Also, with my eyesight being so bad, the end product wasn't really what I was hoping for. So, I may cobble together a little bit. I did two miniatures, one of which was Marlos Urnrail, the Prophet of Elemental Earth, because my party for the D&D campaign that I run here in my basement, well, they're getting ready to face him. So I bought the figure and I started painting him. And unfortunately, I just could not get the details the way I wanted it to, and it ended up very sloppy. I wasn't very happy with it. It was subpar WizKids Mage Knight level, which is not acceptable to me. I was also doing a little dragon because I had recently, a year plus ago, I had backed a Kickstarter for Bones 4 from Reaper Miniatures. And there were a lot of good miniatures in there. With the intention of painting them, of course. They come unpainted. But after that, I don't think anybody would really want to see me. It's mostly me apologizing for the general lack of skill because, again, my eyesight just wasn't up for it. Even with the rig I have with a magnifying glass on a stand, and just couldn't do the kind of quality I'd like to show for you guys. So that's probably never going to happen. Larger pieces are a bit more forgiving, and especially since my technique, I use acrylic paints. If you make mistakes with acrylic, it's relatively easy to clean up. But as you get further along in the process and you start painting on other paints or painting around areas you painted, cleaning can, set you back further and further. So the Marlos thing was not optimal. Rocky, the little red dragon that I got, mostly for my wife. I don't think I'll use him for miniatures much, but he turned out pretty good. Still got some more to paint with him, but maybe I'll do that one. I don't know. I mean, my techniques are basic. My supplies are kind of primitive, but I wanted to show that you don't need to have the fancy stuff to turn out decent grade miniatures. You don't need an airbrush and a complete suite of paints. You just need the basics, and as you have your collection, you might get a couple other specialized paints or specialized brushes for things that you do, but in general, a person who practices painting and does it regularly eventually gets those kind of skills, even if they don't have top of the level stuff and don't invest a ton of money. So it was a thought, one that we left behind. I have a number of videos that have been shot. They're on the cutting room floor. I just have to do a few new intros because we're doing a new series. Yay. Although I am going to have to get back and do some series that I've already done that I can get out, relatively quickly. I've got another question to answer for Ask the Wizard, which will be fun. Oh. I have two entirely new series. One is having a little bit of a troublesome intro, and the other one I'd like to do an intro, but I'm playing around with the video editor a little bit, so that's not going as smoothly as I'd hoped. But we'll get there. We'll get there, and we'll have some good new videos to entertain you. One of them, Dungeons and Darkness, is the crossover for Massive Darkness, the role-playing light board game, and Dungeons and Dragons, possibly the most well-known role-playing game in the world. And taking elements of either and showing how you can cross over these things. It's almost an extension of my card and board series, where I show us playing games and explain the features and benefits, the cons and pros of each game. Speaking of which, I have a new one of those that we have shot. I kind of talked my wife into playing with Alex and I. We got a game of Fireball Island in. I'm not sure how the video footage is. I haven't reviewed it yet. I only had the fixed camera on it, and it's a large board, and I don't know how well it picked up the action. We'll be zooming in on different shots and trying to do things. We'll see. It's not going to be a fancy video like, when Will Wheaton does his tabletop series. He's got multiple cameras fixed around, interviews with the people so that they can talk smack about the situation and stuff. It's not going to be like that. It'll be relatively simple to show a game that I really, really love. But hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making the video. So it was pretty cool. I also have the new video series, which was kind of inspired isn't the right word because it was something I wanted to do for a while. But the backdrop that I got is new because I have a new series now called OmnusI Takes on the Universe, where I talk about the kind of things that I've wanted to talk about for some time in terms of game creation and game theory and design and elements of isolating incidents and creating and expanding, which I think could be really good and really interesting. So once I get the intro for that, which nothing too difficult, but I'm trying to work on a nice little graphic for the intro. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I may scrap the fancy graphic and go for something a little more low-tech just to get it out. But by tomorrow, I'm hoping I should be able to get a video or two up onto YouTube for all of you. So cross our fingers. I also did a State of the Dungeon address winding down my real-life tabletop campaign for the Warhammer 40,000. If you haven't seen that, I basically recapped the entire the game so far, which started about a year and 3 months before it ended. So it's not a lengthy campaign, not by my standards, but it was decent. Had good character development, built a good story. If you're interested in how a story like that can go, I put in a lot of details, and if you're not familiar with Warhammer 40k, I tried to explain the concepts of it so that you didn't have to, start looking stuff up on Wikipedia. It's, pretty decent, I think. So that's really what's going on around here. I've not been putting out as much as I'd like to this week because it's been kind of a rough week. Had a couple of deaths in the family. Not the immediate, but the extended family, which sometimes can be as difficult as it brings all of your plans to a halt, and you have to start dealing with funerals and running around for people. And that, along with some real life car troubles, which have been irritating to say the least, disheartening certainly. One step forward, two steps back, it seems sometimes. But that has kind of thrown me into a rut. One other major risk to kill my production is, well, I have a massively multiplayer online game that I used to love. It was called City of Heroes, and Cryptic Studios, the company that put it together, was a Korean company, or at least had been bought by a Korean company, and they eventually closed the game. They went from a subscription model to a free-to-play, couldn't sustain it, and eventually they killed it. And the problem when you do that is that people have bought this game, and some of them are still willing to give money to it, but suddenly nobody can play it anymore because it only exists on live servers. Apparently, some nice folks in Amsterdam, I hear, put together the money, got a hold of the code, and created their own servers. And they've dubbed it City of Heroes Homecoming. And it is glorious. It's just like playing back in the day, except they have some of the latest story advancements. So you have all access to all the things that they had for City of Heroes, and so that they're not breaking copyright law or whatever other reasons, it's free. They're not asking for subscriptions to keep their servers running or anything like that. So, don't know the sustainability, how long it'll go for, but I'm enjoying the daylights out of it right now while I can. I've already remade my Prime character, a couple of other sample characters, and going through some of the different changes that they had made that I didn't have really much of a chance to do back in the day. I played for quite a while, got a character up to max level, played around, but the endgame content really didn't thrill me all that much, so I went away for a few years. By the time I got back, they had gone free to play, and it was still... there was a lot that had changed to make it almost unrecognizable in places, so I backed up and heard it was closing down. So I was on for a month before it closed down, which was very bittersweet. It was a really good game. It's not so good that you'll never want to play anything else. No. But it was a great game if you want to get the feeling of being a superhero and doing cool superhero things, including being the first MMO that I was ever able to play where I had a character fly. Breaking the boundaries of the ground after playing games like EverQuest, Star Wars Galaxies. It was liberating. I loved it, fell in love, and played for a long time on that. Probably more than any other MMO I've played, except for Star Wars Galaxies. That one was a time hog. Working my way to being the best weaponsmith in Gorath in my time. So, good times. If any of you played City of Heroes, I highly recommend checking out Homecoming. It's an excellent game. I think when they launched it, they announced that it was the 15th anniversary of the original game, which is cool. And it feels really good playing it again. So that's what's going on in my life. So lots of videos coming up. Busy. Soul of the City is coming along, if anybody's interested in that. Again, general call out if anybody wants to see anything special, or you're like, I don't want to see all these new things. I would rather see him do another Lair of OmnusI about this topic. Hey, comments below. I read everything. You can talk to me on everything. And every day, I check out YouTube usually 2 or 3 times a day, hoping to see a message that somebody put in a comment in one of my videos. Just hoping to see some dialogue or something going on. So it's your channel. You decide the content. So if you want to see me do something, by all means, put it up and I will do just that. In addition, getting really close to that 100 subscriber limit, and got a cool game that we'll all play together, If we get just one, maybe two more subscribers, sometimes the count goes down a little bit and then comes up. I love all of you, but just a couple more, and I got something really cool in mind. I think we'll have fun. So thank you very much, and I will talk to you all next time I decide to crawl in front of the internet. Now I'm going to go make a couple of State of the Dungeon addresses for the D&D campaign that I did. One overview, State of the Dungeon, over everything that's happened so far in the game, and then the one for last night's session, or what I can remember of it. It was a long night. So thank you, and I will talk to all of you very soon. Farewell.